My people, I have a question for each and every one of us who's watching me right now. And please answer this question before you continue with the video. Do you really think Africa needs AFricom? I'm told the work of the AFricom is to deal with the security issues of Africa, the things to do with insecurity in Africa. AFricom is an organization that was created by the US to make sure it is taking care of the security issues in Africa. And I have a question for us all. Do you think Africa needs AFricom? Do you think Africa cannot stand for itself or protect itself to an extent it needs AFricom to come in and take care of the insecurity issues we are having in Africa? Do you think we need AFricom in Africa? Yes, we need it. Or no, we don't need it. Let me know what you have to say.
I want us to focus now because, there's a lot happening in the region, and a lot of that affects the peace and security and stability of Kenya being central in the region. I'd like us to focus now for a moment on Sudan. The crisis there now in its second year. Two sides in this conflict, one indicted for crimes against humanity in Darfur, the other is facing legitimacy questions due to a coup. In this divide, General Langley, does AFricom have a side?
Well, that's a policy question. Right now, we want peace because, point being known, these atrocities and this civil war since 15 April 2023 and the displaced population from the Darfur region into other countries, it's a travesty. The casualties there are equivalent to any other place on the globe. And that story needs to be told. Burhan and Hemeti going at it, two warlords that actually was a coup within itself. It was supposed to be civilian governance, it was supposed to be elections, and then war broke out. Who suffered from that? The people of Sudan suffered from that. So we're trying to push for peace. There needs to be coming. So that's in our policy realms and diplomatic realms of those leaders across the globe, to get them to come to the table. There was atrocities on both sides.
And what role is AFricom playing, if any? Even behind the scenes?
This is strict. This is at the higher level. Okay. As far as the diplomatic piece, we don't have a military role there.
Do you see the Sudan conflict as posing a great security threat in the Horn of Africa? Or how would you assess, that situation?
It could emanate.
Yeah.
It can emanate. Just the instability there, and could affect more migration, whether that migration goes east, west, or even north, of displaced populations, has reverberating effects across other communities that stokes conflict. We see that even down south when you look at the DRC and the M23 and displacing, as they marched upon Goma, displaced populations. It affects people's lives and stability. And when populations move, it disrupts where their in location is because there's not the capacity to provide for them. So we look at those reverberating type effects, cascading effects, if you will, and it happens and it has a threat of happening across the region. For example, populations coming out of the Darfur region and going into Chad is disrupted. They may not have the necessary type services to be able to accommodate those populations.
So you say you're not present on the ground, but is AFricom monitoring the flow of arms, external influence in this conflict, including the latest reported use of chemical weapons by the RSF?
Well, you know that the U.S. is considering sanctions. So, yes, that's at the higher levels. those policies, those decisions, or the White House. But at AFricom, we need to be able to do indications and warnings of that.
Are you concerned?
And watch what's going on. Say again?
Are you seeing anything that concerns
Well,
you?
we report that to our government.
Okay.
We report that for our government. So it's public now that we are investigating the use of those chemicals. So that's where our U.S. government takes over. The number of communities across the leadership, the UN, they look into these things and they do extensive measures to be able to investigate it.
Welcome back again to the African Streamline. I am Atamba Hiti. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making this channel your stop over today. You are my greatest people and the people that I really love so much. And I like when you're here all the times because you are the people who makes me sit here and speak the things I'm speaking. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here at this time and at this moment. And I really thank you so much for taking a step to come and make a channel a stop over today. God bless you wherever you are and in whatever the things that you are doing. Now, you've had the video and I really wanted you to watch that video. That is why I did not interfere. I wanted you to watch the video from the beginning to the end. And we are talking about Michael Langley today because recently Michael Langley has raised attention in Africa and many people have been talking about these. Many channels have been talking about Michael Langley, many TV stations, news, it has been everywhere. And people have been really talking about this, okay? Now, I have a problem with a lot of things when it comes to issues to do with Michael Langley. And today I have a very serious conversation I want all of us to engage ourselves in. This is a very, very, very serious conversation. Yeah. You know, Michael Langley came to Kenya a day ago and he has been here, and the reason he's in Kenya is because he's in here for a security tour. The so-called AFricom that is all over Africa right now, it's an organization that has been created to make sure that it is dealing with security issues of Africa and African countries all over Africa. Okay, it's a U.S. organization. It's calling itself AFricom. So AFricom as a U.S. organization, you will bear with me, my voice is not that perfect today, but it's because of one issues here and there, but I'll be okay, yeah? So AFricom is a U.S. organization, an organization that has been created, it has been made to focus with the issues of security in Africa. It is a U.S. organization, yeah? I do not have a problem with AFricom. I don't have a problem with their ambition, or rather their agenda of actually making or maybe securing Africans, rather to take care of the insecurity issues of Africa. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem with how people take Africa and how people think they are the saviors of Africa, or rather they are the people who can save Africa. Yeah. So Michael Langley came to Kenya the other day. He was in Kenya, and Citizen TV had an opportunity to interview him with Yvonne Okwara. Yvonne Okwara is a citizen journalist. They had an opportunity of interviewing him, and they asked him a lot of questions, many questions. That is why I did 2 videos. This is the first video, then I'll put a second video. A second video is just coming, yeah? So the second video talks more about the Sahel, the Michael Langley and Ibrahim Traore and all that. But this first video, I want us to focus on, I want us to have a conversation, me and you to have a clear and a smooth conversation. We didn't need to talk about this. Because I have a great question, a big question that I need to ask you today. Do you mean Africa cannot protect itself when it comes to issues and matters security? Africa has gotten to a point where it can't stand for itself. It can't protect itself. It can't actually make defense forces that can protect the boundaries of Africa, that can finish up the terrorism and all that. To an extent, we must have an organization called AFricom that has to come to Africa and take care of Africa when it comes to matters security. I mean, we really need to have a good conversation here, because it's a conversation that is healthy when it comes to us as black people and as Africans, because it is raising a lot of issues. It is raising a lot of concerns. You see, I don't know why people really are scrambling for Africa. Like, everybody is really scrambling for Africa. The US does not feel good when China is in Africa. US does not feel good when Russia is in Africa. They also must be part of Africa, and they are going to an extent of even saying that China and Russia do not have a good interest. Yeah? So they're trying to secure Africa from them. Like, my question is, we've had China working with African countries, and these African countries succeed. Yeah? We're seeing how Russia is working with Burkina Faso, and we can see a big changes in Burkina Faso. Unlike the time that France was in Burkina Faso was not developing. But why is it that America keeps on thinking it's the saviors of Africa? Like, why is it that America keeps on thinking they are the savior of Africa? This is always my conversation, and this is the conversation that I like to have all the times. The Europe countries, especially the West countries, the Europe countries, they think many times that they are the saviors of Africa, and Africa therefore cannot live without them, or rather Africa can't do anything without them. Do you really think this is how it should be? Like, do you really think this is how it should be? We've been having a lot of things here in Africa, a lot of terrorism in Africa and all that, and we agree, okay? But will I be lying, or will I be wrong if I would say the US, or rather the Europe, they develop, they manufacture, they manufacture terrorists to come to Africa, to terrorize African countries that they have chosen, so that we can go, or we can run to them to ask for help? Will I be lying if I say so? Because recently, African countries have not been going to the US for help. The other day, President William Ruto did not go to the US. Rather, he went to China to ask for help. And I think Africa, or rather I think US finds it so bad. Like, they feel like, no, these people really need to come to us. They don't need to go to these other countries in search of help. They need to come to us in search of help. They should come to us as the United States of America to ask for help. Kenya could not be going to China to ask for help. It is we they should look up to. I think that is what they always think. Like, they see themselves as superior all the times. They feel like, we are the gods here, and we are the bosses here. When we speak, they should listen. When we cough, they should answer. We don't need to call them. Like, that is how they think. Yeah? Because why Africa? Why Africa? Why is it that all the countries, everybody is scrambling for Africa? Why is it that they cannot leave Africa alone? Because Africa alone can do its own things by themselves. Let me ask you a question. How can black terrorists be terrorizing Africans? We've had many groups coming out and trying to terrorize Africa. And my question has always been, why is it that black terrorists, black people, are the ones who are terrorists in Africa? Yeah? Why is it that all the times it's a black person who comes and wants to destroy a fellow black person? It's because there is something that is cooking here that many people don't know, many people don't understand, many people have not seen it, but only those who have the deeper ears have been able to see it. We are Africans. We have everything. We can stand for ourselves. We can lead ourselves. We can do many things for ourselves. But these people all the times, they want to have a portion of Africa. That is why all the times they would come to Africa. Like, for example, what is AFricom for? Seriously, what is AFricom for? AFricom it's an organization, a US organization. Nobody from Africa sat down and said, we need US to create an organization that will come and help Africa. It is something they have created in their country. US and their leaders, they sat down and they said, we want to create an AFricom, an organization that will protect Africa from what they're going through. Sincerely, nobody has asked anything from these countries, from Europe, in Africa. We don't need the help of Africa. We are not dying without that help. Nobody is crying right now without that help. Nobody is complaining without that help. But why should they create an organization for us? An organization we have not asked for it. They're giving us a help that we have not asked for it. It's a help that they've decided themselves they are going to create. It's an organization they've decided themselves they're going to create for that organization to come and help Africa. Like, let's be sincere on this. We need to be sincere. We really need to sit down, talk about this, because it's a very serious conversation. Where did AFricom begin from? Who were the pioneers of AFricom? What was the initial agenda? What was the initial responsibility of AFricom? Because if it's about protecting Africa, what are you getting in return by protecting Africa, or rather by coming and helping Africa in terms of insecurity issues? Is there anything you're gaining? Are you being given money? Because if you're being given money, or if you're reaping something out of it, it means you are scamming people, or it means you're thieves. Because you can't create an organization yourself, then you bring that organization to us. We have not asked for it. We don't really need it. It is not something we want it, but you can bring it and you want to be given something in return, because I know there is no country that will decide to help a whole continent without getting something or anything in return. There is something they must be getting in return, because they know it is in Africa, and because they can't take it for free. Right now we are looking at them, our eyes are open, so they will have to come with something. Because sincerely speaking, Africa does not need AFricom. We don't need it. Tell me on the comment section if you need AFricom. If you need it, let me know. If you think AFricom is doing what is required in Africa, if you think it's necessary for us to have AFricom in Africa, tell me on the comment section. Let me know. Let me listen to you. Let me understand if you think it's necessary, if you think we need it, if you think it's better and it's necessary for us Africans to have AFricom in Africa. Tell me. I want to listen to hear that. I want to hear that. Yeah? Because me, I have a problem with how foreign countries intrude themselves or interfere with the matters of Africa. I have a problem with that. I don't find it safe. I don't find it necessary. I find it irrelevant because no. Because Africans can take care of themselves. Africans can take care of themselves. Africa used to take care of itself before even the coming of the missionaries. The issues and the things to do with the terrorism and all that was not there. This is something that started from the West. It's something that started from Europe. So even if it's a problem right now, it's a problem that was created by them. How can you solve a problem you created yourself, or you failed to stop it from happening? Now you want to come with a solution of the same problem. You can't be creating a problem and every day you're creating the same problem, and you want to maybe have or develop or make a solution for that problem. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's necessary. But sincerely speaking, we really have to have a second thought. We really need to have a second thought on this. Yeah. But tell me what you think. If you think AFricom is needed in Africa, and if you think it's necessary for AFricom to be part of Africa, tell me in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read all the comments and give a response where possible. This is the African Streamline. I am Atamba Heti. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. If it's your first time to be here, do not forget to subscribe. But for the returning subscribers, I salute you so very much. God bless.